My name is Nick Nicholson with Nightly History Hour on Channel 9 at 9. Tonight's topic is why vegetarians have it all wrong.
Nick, isn't your wife a vegetarian?
Ex-wife. That line piece of. But I digress. Tonight's actual topic is how fast food, and in turn deep frying, is the leading cause of the obesity epidemic that plagues today's society. Let's see what Camera 2 Nick has to say about that. Thanks, Nick. In 1921, two men by the names of Walter Anderson and Billy Ingram created White Castle. People used to believe that hamburgers were made from old and rotten meat. White Castle changed their perspective because they were able to see how the burgers were made. Later in 1948, McDonald's was created, and in 2 years later, in 1950, Taco Bell followed.
Now time for a nature update with Sven Scharfenstein.
There's lots of trees and flowers and stuff.
Thank you, Sven. Now back to our scheduled program.
Oftentimes, fast food is directly linked to obesity. Although in moderation fast food is by no means good for you, it does not directly cause obesity. But the people who eat fast food often are almost always obese. A small order of French fries and a hamburger from your standard fast food restaurant contains at least 800 calories. Besides gaining extreme amounts of weight by eating too much fast food, these foods often lack proper amounts of vitamins. These people are often found to lack vitamins A and C, along with deficiencies in dietary fiber, not drinking enough milk, and not eating enough fruits and vegetables.
Redneck Nick presents.
There are no Midwest found involved with eating such major unhealthy food. They were found to eat fast food more than twice a week. Increased the probability that the patient would have increased insulin resistance, which is known to cause heart attack and stroke. In a study, scientists found that for every fast food restaurant in an area, the risk of stroke went up by 1%, and that's a lot. However, in some cases, the risk of high blood pressure is increased a lot because of the sheer amount of sodium that is in the fast food. And I don't care.
This can be in relation to price elasticity. In an article written by Lisa Powell and Frank Chalukpa, they research whether altering the cost of unhealthy, energy-dense foods compared with healthy, less dense foods through the use of fiscal pricing, tax or subsidiary policy instruments would in fact alter the food consumption patterns and overall diet to significantly reduce individuals' weight outcomes. They examined many labs by other scientists. They found that, quote, price elasticities reflect the magnitude of such impacts and are defined as the percentage change in outcomes, such as food consumption or weight, resulting from a 1% change in price. In simpler terms, the price of food is reduced, it is more likely that people will buy the food because it is cheaper. Also, in controlled laboratory experiment, manipulating the prices of healthy, low energy dense foods compared with unhealthy, energy dense foods, and found that all of the foods were price elastic. In 1997, an experiment was implemented into a school cafeteria, where the school dropped the price of fruits and vegetables by 50%, and in turn quadrupled the sales of those fruits and vegetables. It in turn lowered the sales of fast food and unhealthy food alike. It is reasonable to say that the prices of foods do relate to the intake of what kind of food there is accessible to you. Also, it was found that profits added to the value of inexpensive foods by deep frying them. In the 30s, it was a way to help struggling restaurants. A 1938 article in the American Restaurant, a trade magazine, estimated that many deep-fried dishes, among them potatoes, oysters, and croquettes, could be priced at 4 or 5 times their cost. This shows how cheap deep frying really was, and still is, and how restaurants could raise the prices 4 to 5 times their actual costs and still be able to sell them. Back in 1961, many diners and drive-ins were booming until fast food restaurants came into play. According to a 1961 drive-in magazine, there was a time not long ago that all you needed was a deep fat fryer and a neon sign to start yourself a restaurant. But competition increased as fast food chains were able to challenge drive-in's popularity. The customers were, quote, more attracted to deep fried food and least afraid of its dietary consequences. The children classified as obese eat a higher percentage of calories from fast food. In other words, 14.6% of calories eaten by obese children is higher than the 12% consumed by the non-obese kids. Obesity is characterized by resistance to insulin, leptin, and other hormonal signals that would normally control appetite and limit reward. Once obese, many individuals meet criteria for physiological dependence. Fast food advertisement, restaurants, and menus all provide environmental clues that may trigger addictive overeating. It's no secret that fast food adds many extra ingredients to their food, but it was not always as such. When fast food was first started, most people could pronounce all the names of the ingredients, but with the increased availability of preservatives and flavorings, fast food restaurants were eager to switch because it was cheaper and the food could last longer without spoiling. These additives may taste good, but they are ultimately not good for you and often eliminates the nutritional value, although small, that this food would have. After authorities found 13 illegals in my basement, I've since been let go from my newscasting position. I've left my suit coat and my wig behind. Yes, I was wearing a wig, it's come out now, and this is what my real hair looks like. This is Nick Nicholson signing off for the last time. Goodbye, everybody.